Welcome to another So You Woke Up podcast episode. And I am here with Emily Iris, and we are going to have another conversation on what it's like to live outside the matrix and just knowing and doing and being like, what in the heck or whatever. And so we're going to start out with her story and what happened to her and what made her be like, oh, yeah, I'm not doing this no more. And so please tell me what woke you up?
Ooh, right. Which time? So
Which
we'll
time?
we'll do the short and the long of it. And
There we
thank
go.
you so much for the intro. But yeah, I think my biggest wake up in the past chapter of my life was through polyamory, actually, because I'm also an adoptee and we have that in common. And I realized, like, throughout my whole life, I have been trying to compensate for the amount of instability that I felt having been given away and dropped in a new family and not having that actual mirroring, like neural mirroring that's natural to a parent and baby of the same blood. So I found myself in I called it like a fucked up community theater production of my adoption story, Polycule.
There we go.
Yeah, and that sounds way freakier than it actually was. It just happened to be I was in a partnership with two men and a woman, and we were all together, and it was so much on my sweet little nervous system. I realized like I had wanted this for so long. I manifested this and spoke it aloud in groups that we were in together and got it. And then realized my nervous system actually hates this. And it's mirroring my adoption, where I always felt stuck between all of these different parents. And of course, I added one more person to the polycule. So now there's like literally two men and two women, just like my life.
Yep. You're like, it just all came together. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm having full-on meltdowns. I'm holding myself together with tapping, and I'm trying to teach yoga and hold space for people at the same time and keep performing as a belly dancer and fire dancer. And it was just like I hit my max. And I remember crying in front of the mirror one day and just being like, I love you so much. I gotta get you out of here.
We
I have
gotta
to
go.
save you. Yeah. And I packed myself up and my familiar who's here next to me and moved us to the mountains. And I've just been healing for 3 years now up here. And since all of that, like my relationship with polyamory and monogamy has shifted a lot. It's not so important in my identity at all, which is so
Yeah.
funny to see it really highlighted in the media right now with Aubrey Marcus and all of that
Yeah. It's beautiful.
shenaniganry. Yeah.
The roundabout of how it's come around, something that happened to you and it came around and you're like, what, knowing, it's been a whole thing. And for you, you were like, okay, and that's the thing too. People are like, this is something I wanted, and you get it and you're like, wait, but this is right here too is like, okay, but this is what I like. But then this right here does the question of the deepness of, but why? But why is this something that I really like, making me feel like I want to die? And it
Right.
came to the thing of like, I'm trying to live out this adoption thing that never settled with me anyway. And I'm repeating a pattern. Okay, there's the pattern that needs to break. And it's
Yeah.
not like you're against everything, but it's just like this was, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm a kink positive, sex positive, BDSM player. Like I'm down for it. And I think a lot of us don't realize when we're unconsciously replaying our traumas that we've learned to alchemize those pains into pleasure because we feel like we had no other choice. Like, oh, I'll just learn to like it.
Yeah.
But
It's like, I'll
no.
learn to love them. No.
Yeah. Yeah,
You already
exactly.
know, and like a lot of this stuff when we come to the Earth School is like here for us to experience. And like you said, some of this stuff can be navigated very easily. But I think you found that too, like in trying to be the sex worker, and
Yeah.
now you're on a different thing. Let's talk about that, like how you could say like it could be, but there's just some corners that just aren't able to alchemize due to others.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And I'm so grateful, like, shout out to all of the sex workers who have talked through this with me on my path, like, extremely conscious baddies who see everything. And when I started, it was really like survival mode. I just said, I need to make this amount of money. I was in a bunch of debt
Yeah.
from alcoholism and trying to survive the polycule and moving and all kinds of things. So I tightened up. I felt like I was in this time of repentance, even though I was a sex worker. And oddly enough, it's in my lineage. So I know that I was um, just clearing for my maternal line there. My great
Yeah.
grandmother was a brothel worker.
Okay.
So
So
I'm
it's
in,
coming through.
yeah, yeah. I'm like sitting here with her totem, her Mother Mary, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'll
I
finish
feel
it.
you.
I'll finish it for all of us.
Yes, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And
Let's go. Yeah.
like I entered in with the consciousness of I'm going to be a bodhisattva in a dark place. I'm going to make my own light. I'm going to wake people up. I'm going to be reaching people who I would not normally be associating with. And they'll like feel my amazing energy and be changed. Like a little bit of a savior complex, TBH.
Don't we all have that a little bit sometimes?
Yeah.
And that's what it starts, and then you have to come back to yourself, which is what we're gonna get to, but go on.
Yeah, yeah. So I came to a realization over the past 3 years, like, okay, I can support myself. I opened up to experiencing more and more money and like the ease of asking for money. My sales skills got honed. I learned a lot, took great care of my body. It got me out of the matrix enough just being on like the wrong schedule from everyone else that I knew.
Yeah,
So I was like, okay, I'm sort of just like meditating all day, doing yin yoga, and then slapping on some makeup and lingerie and high heels and fucking around on the
yeah,
weekends, which was so weird but
yeah.
fun. And then it stopped being fun.
Hmm.
I met this incredible woman at a burn where I meet so many humans that I vibe with. And I saw her dancing on a pole, and I was like, that's a professional. I can see. She's not just like, I'm a fitness pole dancer. Like, nah, I see. And I had a chat with her, and it turned out that she was working as a stripper as well. And she got to this point where she had been microdosing mushrooms, working with mushroom medicine, and she's like, I just can't hold space for people who don't want to engage in their healing when I know I'm like one ceremony with me and like this addiction you have to outsourcing feminine energy will be healed because you'll learn how to plug in with Gaia, with Source. You don't have to come for the mother's milk at the strip club because I think that's actually what's happening. It's like an
Yes,
addiction to
yes.
siphoning feminine energy because
There's
men
so
are
much
not
feminine
taught.
going on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
men aren't taught to access it themselves. They're like actively
Yeah.
encouraged to not.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that's where it got to with me. And I was like, okay, I know this and I don't know how else I will receive money. And hooked up with my soulmate who also has angelic soul. And we just decided, okay, let's just stop doing it and take a leap of faith and see what happens. And then everything shifted like really, really fast
I
in my
mean, it's
life.
because that's that thing when you make that decision towards the alignment, and
Yeah.
then it's like boom.
You have to just do it.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like, how are you supposed to do? That's me sitting over here in
Yeah.
Colorado, and I'm like sitting here, and money hasn't really come in, but it has in like other ways. I always say if it doesn't make any sense, it's probably the right way, because I mean, the Matrix, right? But
Right.
yeah, it's like of this thing, and it's like, but I've been taken care of, and I'm at a place now where I'm like, I'm gonna have to move again and find the thing, and it's like I really the money that I'm making now is like I really don't have to get something, but I don't want to live. in a ghetto thing, it's the thing. So I'm like, okay, you know what? All I gotta do is just trust and
Yeah.
keep going that this is the thing. And that's like with you. It's like I have literally shaked my booty cheeks for this thing. I know. You know what? And some people listen to this, they may not, they've been working 9 to 5, right? But listen to this. So it's like, I'm going to take booty cheeks and I'm going to take 9 to 5. And this is the thing. So it's like somebody does 9 to 5. Let's say they're working at the thing. It's like this. I know that this makes me money. I know how to do this, but I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And then here's you, what they would think maybe be free shaking your ass, which that makes money. And you're like, I know how to do this, but this is killing me. You had to make the same decision as somebody as doing this thing is like, I know that I'm good at this. I
Yeah.
know that this will make me money, but I'm going to die and I have to do something else. And if we were made to not suffer, then I think doing the suffering thing, even if it's bringing the money, what can imagine can happen if I stop suffering?
Right. How much more powerful can I be when I'm not letting my energy be siphoned by a corporation or a bunch of men
Guys
in a strip club? Yeah.
or women or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, everyone
yeah.
goes. Everyone goes. I mean, there's even male strippers too. It's like they'll get the same thing of women, it's like the divine masculine is getting emasculated at these places because the women are
Yeah.
so it's and I talk about this too about the false light being very important. And that's, at the time it wasn't like you were false light, but you needed to be in a darkness place you saw as for your grandmothers and stuff too. When you went in there, you go in there because there was no light. There
Yeah.
needed to be. And you have no idea who you woke up or who, whatever. But it's like my time is over for that. Once you realize that. And it sounds like you didn't get out when you wanted to because of other things, but you did. And that's the point too of like, it's never, ever too late to get
Yeah.
the fuck out.
And and you're never gonna be like, okay, now's the perfect time. I'm ready.
I'm
Like
ready. Yeah.
sometimes you just
No, you're going to
have
go
to.
shitting yourself
Yeah.
right out the door.
Okay, but on that subject, like since I quit
Yeah.
and I've been just healing, it's been a couple of weeks, like
Yeah.
my digestion is fine. Like any
Yeah.
issues
Because
I was
you are
having,
not digesting all that other stuff.
yeah, right. I'm not taking on other people's mishmash energy. And for real, like my very last night in the club, I was thinking about this note in my astrology that's specifically a Pisces thing. And it said, surrounded by criminals and absorbs everything around them. And I was like at the club talking to people and like realizing like, oh my God, I really am surrounded by criminals. Not that I'm like a perfectly law-abiding citizen, but
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. So it just comes, yeah. And it comes to that. And the thing is that I do believe that we're put in these spaces to break the chains of that, like, like your grandmother in that brothel. It was like, at that time, it was like, there really wasn't. But
Yeah.
here's the kicker. There is now. Just like people can't just go around burning witches anymore because there is literally a camera on every corner.
I know.
And we
And no
all are
one.
like, oh no, they're watching what we're doing. I'm like, but do you realize now that the darkness cannot come out as much because I mean, Big Brother is watching. I mean, and even if it's not evened out, this has allowed the darkness to not win as much because you cannot hide it anymore.
Yeah, we're shining flashlights and cameras everywhere.
And people are like, "Oh God, privacy," and I'm like, "Well, now that child that's it's
Yeah.
noticed. Now that person on the street is like." Do you notice the shift of those things? And they may seem like, oh, our privacy, oh, this stuff, but it's shifting it from the shifties. People are not, and that's happening. And this is what's happening with the sun right now with the light too. It's shining on the authentic, inauthentic people that are trying to sell you things.
Yeah.
So
And
being
yeah, I'm
authentic.
feeling like this is kind of why I was attracted to polyamory because
Mhm.
in a communal structure, there are more checks and balances, and there should be more accountability,
Hmm.
and there's less to hide. And like, that's pretty trippy to take your monogamous relationship and then slap it in front of a mirror of someone else's and be like, how do we all work this out together? I see your codependencies. I see your codependencies. And it just like
Just the trigger.
flushes everything out. Super triggering,
Yeah.
yes. And it's safer in some ways because you
Yeah.
have other people that have eyes on you, like how our ancestors used to live with our grandparents and parents or within communities. And now we're so isolated by individualism and just like the capitalistic nuclear family structure, often we have some of the icky things that are emerging, like toxic mega coach culture and all of these sick things happening within family structures, and people can hide it that much more easily because
Yeah.
of privacy.
Yeah, and it's going to all implode, and that's why I believe I found out that like I was a Venetian starseed, and I found out some other stuff too about love and stuff like that, and that's why I think maybe because what's going to happen is it has to come from love with compassionate boundaries. So we're not
Right.
saying like I just love you to death.
Yeah.
No, it's like I love you enough to respect you, and I've had this where somebody has told me they love me so much. And they're like, I love you. You're the best thing. I trust you. And then their actions are completely opposite of that. And it's like, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but this is not going to, in this new earth that's forming in this way, that way is going to be outside the tribe because people are sick of it. They're sick of being told, or being like, I love this family, and then oh, something comes on. This is a better family, so it's like no, you know what I mean? It's eventually what's going to happen is, especially with golden ages, is that you ascend to the thing where you see that we're separate but not.
Yes.
Yes. So it's like it's just like I'm gonna say the restaurant thing again of having like if no one's washing the dishes, there's no plates for the cooks to put the things on. So there is individualism, but what is everyone doing? They're inside the restaurant. So
Yeah.
the restaurant is the thing. So it's just because we have different roles doesn't mean we're separate. And I think that's something you and me are very much, here to do. And it doesn't mean that we have to love everything that our, and that's, I would love to live in a community. Problem being is that people go into community saying they want a community, but if it's against what their beliefs are, they can't be open to the other ones, and they can't be open to having the compromise that it takes because we are not separate to have that. And then people don't want to talk to somebody else. There's no talking. And even if there's a part where it's like, okay, we just really can't get along, then all that is that at that time, we're not supposed to be that close to that person. And
Yeah.
I feel like I don't even, this is like a download because I don't know if I haven't read a lot of stuff, but I feel like, let's say there's a village and we all in TPs and stuff like that. And these two at this time cannot get, they're going to move this little group over here. And it's not like they're on a different planet, but it's like they're not right next to each other in the room. They're
Yeah.
across the village, still in the
Yeah.
village, but until somebody can come around, because we're all on different paths.
Right.
So like I could be here, you could be here, but in 1 year you're here, and we're back together, smacking. Yeah,
I think of planets orbiting, and like sometimes we're crossing and like we'll never cross again. And other times we're parallel and we're super close. And with other souls, we're meant to be there just for our Saturn return or something. And then we spin off into space.
yeah,
And instead of taking all of that super personally, I think this is actually an adoptee superpower.
yeah,
I'm kind of like, all right, see you in the next cycle. If I
yeah,
do, when I do, or I'll see you in the next lifetime on the next world we incarnate on. Like, I'm actually not super attached, even
yeah,
though there have been moments where I was heartbroken and made it about me.
Yeah.
because that was my story of abandonment. But that's shifted so much for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
I think
comment.
my only thing is just I want the respect of saying I don't want to work with you. I don't that's my part. That's the thing is like I'm totally and it's so funny because I'm over here being like I understand because I know none of this has to do with me because we're all individualistic. But I do believe, letting a person know that their time with you is over. And I think that's it's going to shift a lot with the old paradigm to the new paradigm of people being like, I want that respect too. So I'll just say, and I think it's hard too, because it's like, especially watching our parents and the older generations, it's like when you said the truth, you got in trouble, you got thrown in yeah, so I think it's, us, the generations that are coming now is of approving of like, it's really actually okay for you to tell me the truth. I'm awake enough to know that, but not everybody is. So it's
Right.
very hard to navigate that.
Oh, yeah. It's wild that this is coming up right now because I just had a friendship breakup, a shift, a renegotiation, like, and those are polyamory skills that I've just pulled through into all my relationships where
Which works, yeah.
from time to time I say, "Would you like to renegotiate our relationship?" I've done it with parents, with a sister, and like it's been so beautiful. And I asked this friend, I'd like to renegotiate our relationship and told her, I want you to be part of my community. Like you are part of my community. And I don't want to invest in a really close, intimate friendship anymore because I see we're on different trains.
I-
And she didn't even reply to me. And I was like, okay, uh,
Yeah,
you
because
know,
and I get that, but guess what? You still did it.
yeah,
You
right.
still did
My
it.
side is clean. I feel
Yeah.
clean on my side.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fair because sometimes and she could have been like you could have stringed her along and been like yeah, 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 but you didn't, and that's my thing, the stringing, the
Yeah.
saying, and that's where I am, and like I really am just like I want the courtesy of because then I can be like I can move on or I can and maybe her way of moving on was like well you know
Yeah.
whatever but that was her choice which you understood at the time of telling her so you
Yeah.
went in and knowing and I think that's something I'm learning too because I have such a big heart but like I've been really much been like if someone wants to know like here it's just not aligned it's just
Yeah.
not
That's
and
such a safe way to say it
yeah,
too, because it's not personal. And if
it's not
someone
personal.
wants more information, they can have it. And if you don't want a lot of information, also, it's nice and clean.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't want it. Yeah, yeah, and I'm here for that.
No. It
Yeah,
sounds like what you're craving really is similar to mine, and that's integrity.
yeah, yeah,
It's kind of
mhm,
old fashioned, like this character, and it to me it feels masculine in some ways
yeah,
to have integrity. Like I'm seeing myself as the tree of life. Like it's that whole side of
yeah,
the masculine where I'm like, we need to have backbones as
yeah. While
spiritual people.
also flowing. It's
Yeah.
not like the backbone can't move with the body; it's still in there.
Yeah. And by the way, it's super curvy too. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, yeah, and it comes around to the divine feminine, masculine, and divine masculine having to be in balance too.
Yeah.
So, having too much aggression and then having too less aggression. So it's all about, the balance. And that's what's going to get us through this time
Oh, yeah.
is our integrity, our authenticity, and our compassion that comes with it.
Yeah, right. That is the feminine, is like compassion, mercy, love, expansion, ascension. Like we need all of this to be working together within ourselves to show up as whole people, to then be plugged into the grid of collective consciousness and really making big energetic shifts.
Yeah.
And we're our ideas of masculine and feminine are so
warped.
Messed up, man.
And that's why people are battling it and fighting it and just yeah, it's and that's the biggest thing about like when you understand what it is, you've got to be an example of that and keep it going and keep it flowing through the way of everything. It's like so they can see that there's a healthy way to do things. There's a different way than the old way.
Yeah. And this feels so a Gemini season conversation to me. And I'm thinking about the lover's card in tarot, right?
Oh, yes.
You have the man looking to the woman looking to the angel. Like that is the representation of how our divine feminine and divine masculine operates in balance, where the feminine receives from the divine, from source consciousness, and the masculine looks to her,
Yes.
ask, what are my marching orders?
Not in like a, please tell me what to do. It's like, you see what I don't see.
Yes.
So please lead me. You see
Yeah.
what I don't see. And I was just talking to someone too, where it's like, it takes a brave man to trust a woman to lead him through there. But it takes a brave woman to trust a man to lead her through things that she can see, knowing that he can see better than her here.
Dude, yes, that has been, this is the death I've been having over the past couple of weeks. I'm just like surrendering to letting a divine masculine counterpart do the lifey stuff that I have only ever felt safe when I'm in total control of. And now I'm
That's
not.
me and Edward. I'm like, what do you mean I can relax?
Right. How? Yeah, I'm crying
Yeah.
every day as I'm shedding a lifetime and I'm sure ancestral lifetimes of
Of the
having,
women that having, yeah.
yeah, keeping it all together. And I found money, love, and control were all tangled up inside of me. And that's,
Control.
yeah, money as control, love masquerading, or control masquerading as love. Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah. And you think about these things and it's like, okay, they did do this and this is thing. It's like, but here I am. I chose to be here and I have a brain, so I'm going to use it. And I'm going to break this pattern because I mean, I'm not going to have kids. I don't know if you're going to have kids, but like, it's like this thing of that too. Yeah. Where it's like, even if you don't, you're still breaking this.
Yeah.
And there's still others in the family. It's not like, you know what I mean? There's still others in the family. There's still, even if you have this family where there's 3 brothers and sisters, right? And they have kids and only like one of them has one of them doesn't have a kid, this one has a kid, and this one has a kid, and then this one has a grandkid, but you don't have a grandkid. If you even break it, you break it for all this,
Yeah.
and it just goes into the thing. So it doesn't mean that you actually have to have something to break it. It's just one person has to do it.
Right. And it does work like that. I'm
Mhm.
sure you've seen when you start to unwind things in your life. I see things shifting in my parents' lives, in my sister's lives,
Mhm.
sometimes in my grandparents' lives. Like literally, my biological grandmother is the reason I activated my clairvoyance. I realized I could talk to her telepathically and she was responding to me.
Yeah.
And my aunt was like, "Oh, grandma said thanks for the call." And I was like, I did not pick up my phone.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you think about it, and it's been for me too. Like I do know my my birth parents, and stuff like that, but not being raised by them, it's like this thing where it's like, what are we actually doing? And then knowing that the adoptive parents, because my parents had no like biological kids, but his brothers did, but it's like I know that I'm breaking it for them too because I went there as a baby. So then it's like I could feel all that stuff. So I'm breaking it for them too. And my example, so it's like even though I don't see a lot of my birth family, I know them or whatever, doing this, breaking that, and then my family that raised me seeing this is breaking it for them.
Yes.
So
I
it's
know.
like double duty.
Adoptees were like, sign me up for expert mode,
Yeah,
man.
I know. Like I'm thinking because they say you pick your parents, that what we means? We pick two pairs.
Yeah. I want more. Can you
Yeah.
make it a little more complicated? I just have so much work to do in this lifetime.
Right? And then we get here and we're like, excuse me.
Yeah. Oh,
I have
right.
underestimated. I had underestimated this mission, but I'm
Yeah.
going to do it. But I'm just going to admit I have underestimated. But I think that's the thing too about this is like, if we did this, we knew we were strong enough.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I know. I've had some chats with my soul about this, and I'm,
Yes.
you know, I
Bro,
I go from like, you stupid bitch, to like, you're such a badass.
you're
I'm
such
just
a
proud of
bad.
you.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, because it's only us. It's only, you and yourself and your soul.
Yeah.
Even though we're not separate, it's like when somebody was telling me this too, it's the place of Earth itself is about duality.
Yeah. Right.
So choosing to come to Earth is knowing that there's the duality. Even though we've forgotten everything, we got to remember. So on Earth school, in the Earth, embracing duality, and whether that's embracing living 3D and 5D or 3D and 12D, whatever you want to believe, whatever's going on there, whether
Yeah.
you want to believe, especially in like in astrologies and all this stuff, there is always duality. And by embracing that and knowing one is not better than the other, that they have to coincide to make it do, is what is going to be the least path of resistance.
Yes. I love that. I'm
But we
just
still resist.
drinking that in.
Yeah. But
It's for
yeah.
me, integration is everything.
Yes.
That's like the
Yes.
hottest compliment I can ever give and receive, is to say, you are so integrated. Because
Yeah.
I mean that deeply. I mean that like you have integrated duality and non-duality on every level.
Yeah. And coming here in my birth chart, I talk about this too. My sun sign is Cancer, Moon Capricorn, North Node Cancer, South Node Capricorn. I was on a retreat. A girl looked me straight in the face and said, "Girl, you all about balance, right?" And I was like, "Oh, I know. In a world that wants to be so unbalanced, I'm struggling."
Yeah, right.
But
Everything
I
is,
already know the way, and I'm like, "But you want me to do this and." So it's like I'm already like was hardwired to do the duality, to do the things, and everyone was like, "Well, that's not how we do it here on the earth, young lady."
I know. And to have memory in your higher consciousness that we're beyond duality too. And we're
Yeah,
holding
like
that as expanded beings. It's my biggest qualm with Earth School is like, I feel so slow to me.
yeah.
I'm like, why can't I just have instant, complete, permanent healing for everything and always, all the
What did
time?
you
Like,
say about the Venetians? It's like it was so fast on your planet. And I was like, "Oh, I know." That's why I'm
yeah,
sitting on my couch going, "What?" But also knowing, okay, Earth is different, and I
yep,
chose that, so it's got to do here. But I can alchemize, I guess, here, knowing that it's already here, but we can't see it here. That I think is the hardest challenge of Earth is like we know, but it's how it works here. And while we're here, we got to kind of not abide by the rules, but know that but also know that certain decisions that we make that are outside of matrixy, something like that, sometimes can make something happen so fast because it is waiting for you there.
oh yeah,
But if you really dive into the what they've tried to make Earth seem like, then you get lost because all it is duality. It's not that. It's always available. But the choice that you make or the thing you choose to do will show what's available at that time.
Oh, yeah. Right. And what you're available and in alignment to receive. Like sometimes we forget that step. And I might say, oh, I want to manifest a yacht, for example.
Yeah, let's do it.
And like I don't live by the water and I don't have any time to manage it and I don't trust a crew to hire. And it's like, well, do I don't really want a yacht then. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? It's not true.
yeah,
It's not a full body fuck yes. So of course you're not going to get the thing that you say you want, and that's such a good thing.
yeah. Because, and that's why, like, coming in and being like, what do I truly want? Do I want this because somebody else wants it, or do I want that
Mhm.
because they said I could have it?
Right.
And that's I think it's another trap for here too. Is like they said I could be a millionaire. They said I could this, and then part of you is like, I actually don't want to be a millionaire. Like it actually sounds like I think I want a lot of money and abundance, but not like that way. So then it's like, but they say that's the only way to have the millionaire. So what if I feel like a millionaire right now? Like, but so there's that duality too of like, okay, and then you wake up one day and you are technically like a millionaire because somebody was like, I really like you and I'm leaving you $1 million when I die.
Right. Yeah.
But, but if you think, let's say you think that you have to be a millionaire by hustling or doing things. So you start putting out programs that you don't even like and whatever. And you make it to that millionaire thing, but then it's like, and then all of a sudden it's gone because you were so fake by like, so it's like, maybe an organic millionaire could be a thing. I don't know if that makes sense to
Yeah.
one, but yeah, it's like, why do you want the money? Like,
Right.
why does this want the thing? Or do you think that maybe doing this, like somebody really wants to do, let's say it's just like when a kid wants to do art. And let's say what he really wants to do is paint. He wants to just paint and paint and paint. But they tell him it's like, that's not going to make you any money. You know what I mean? Right. And this could be an example. It's like, that's not going to make you any money. And, you should do this. So, and at heart, maybe he knows, maybe my paintings could make me money. I don't know. And so he can make two choices. He could be like, all right, I'm going to continue this, end up painting, end up somebody being like, yeah. And that's how he is so rich in the thing, or he decides to make money and then struggles. He could make the money, but everything in him is dead.
Yeah. Or he sells out and becomes a graphic designer for a digital marketing company, like
Yeah.
we have all
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, or whatever like that. So it's, yeah. So it's like, these things, it's like, is the path worth it? Just because you can have it, just because
Yeah.
you can have the yacht, just because you can have the mansion, just because you can, I mean, is it something that you actually truly want? And if it is, that's fair because you'll get there organically. But if you don't, you're not. It's going to feel like pushing teeth. You're going to have to F people over. You're going to have to kill your integrity to get something that you think that you want. And then you get there and you're like, why is it so lonely here?
Every time, I swear, when it's not my dream and I go after it, that feels like a very Capricorn thing, like climb every mountain. Oh, that's not my mountain.
That's not my
And
mountain.
yeah, I've done it a few times and noticed how I tie my identity up in these things. And in the end, I'm like, I'm not even comfortable holding this. I don't actually want it. It's not because I don't have a worthiness issue. It's because there's something about it that's giving me ick.
For saying that.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. It's like, it's not that I don't think I just don't want it.
Yeah.
I just don't, I just don't want it. And that's okay. You want it, you get it.
Right, right. Don't yuck
That's,
my yum, I won't yuck yours. And
yeah.
of course, this is how there is enough pie for everyone too. It's like we're not all meant to do the same thing. We're not all meant to fulfill the same roles, and we don't all have the same desires that our soul came here to manifest. Thank
Yeah.
goddess. It's way more fun this way.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I mean, it is a pill to swallow for sure.
Yeah.
Especially just how we're taught. And especially, I feel like it's being taught different now. I feel like some of these babies that are being born right now are going to be like, oh, you mean I can just be me?
Right.
Yes. And when they're like, be you, don't do you, don't be you.
Yeah.
So and that's what's shifting of us realizing, even there's even people in their 70s now realizing, oh, I don't have to do that now. And deciding, I just love the story about that lady who's like 95, like swimming Olympic. She might be dead. I don't know. It's been like a year, but she was just like, they told me I could not swim at 95. And here she is just like buff as shit. Just do it. And I'm like, girl, you
Cool.
do you.
Yeah.
You do you. And that's what the thing is like, if she was like, okay, well, maybe not, then she wouldn't be swimming herself and then die in a pool, maybe in bliss
Right.
of like, I did this, like, and that's the thing. And the surrender of what does your soul want? And your
Yeah.
soul wanted to not shake his ass anymore. This was like done.
Right. My my soul and body just said
Mhm.
like we cannot take it anymore. It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's,
And that's for anyone listening, like this isn't just I've been a stripper for 3 years. And by the
no.
way, when I started doing that, I thought to myself, am I too old? I was 33.
Yeah.
When I started belly dancing professionally, I thought, am I too old? I was 28.
Yeah.
It's like everything that I've gotten to, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, is it too late for me? No,
No.
fuck all of that.
Hmm.
But I've been a dancer my whole life. I was trained as a classical ballet dancer, turned to modern when my body couldn't take the ballet anymore. And I've done all kinds of different styles. It has put food on my table for my whole adult life and with some breaks for digital marketing. But I say this to illustrate the point that a lot of us, when we step out of the matrix, are coming off of the drug that is selling our bodies for productivity, selling our time, our most precious resource, and our health. Like, it's so crazy to come off of it. I really am feeling like I'm having a
A detox.
withdrawal.
Withdrawal.
Yeah.
Yeah, a withdrawal of like, what do I do? What do you mean I don't have to do this?
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you mean I don't have to be in survival mode all the time? What do you mean I can relax? And it feels so unsafe, but at the same times it feels so right.
Yeah, it feels natural in a
Mhm.
way that I'm still coming down to, like landing in it,
Yeah, and
fully
that's
grounding. It's maybe like at my belly now, and it has to go through the hips and legs
yeah,
and feet.
you're like it to the hips that
Yeah,
have been shaking for for so long.
I know, I know.
There's
Not
some muscle there.
not that the shaking did nothing because I
Yeah.
got the sexual liberation I needed
Yeah,
for,
and it really does help with the hips,
yeah.
men and women. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, for real. Yeah, from growing up in high religious control.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so it's all beneficial, but I think that too you're talking about that how you come down from the drug is why a lot of people go back in because it's like the withdrawals are too heavy.
Yes. Oh yeah. I've been stroking the hair of my anxiety part and just being like, you can get a job if you want. You
Yeah,
can,
yeah,
but you don't need to. So
yeah,
like a job, not
yeah,
a service, a mission.
yeah,
And that feels like the most important thing to me right now is to just get really clear on my mission, what my soul came here to be,
yeah,
and then let the doing come through that.
yeah, yeah. And I think, it's so opposite of the way that it's been that it's so uncomfortable that I totally have so much compassion and totally get it. And there's times where I do fall back in, where I'm like, oh, maybe I should do this and, I'll have to cry and scream and come back. But like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, nope, nope, nope. We're going here. And that's the grace to give yourself. It's the grace of like, I am still in the human body. I am still, in these things. So I do have to grace myself But know that it's going to be hard. It's going to be weird. It's going to be overwhelming, and it's also going to be so worth it. And I know you feel that right now. That even with all the outside chaotic, your soul and your heart feel like it can finally breathe.
Yeah. Oh, 1000%. My inner child, my inner crone, like everyone's on board. We
Yeah.
are all on board, and I have been asking for this for so long. And I'm laughing with myself as I'm working through the nervous system reset. I'm like, damn, you were looking at all your friends who had this nice comfy setup and you're like, I can't wait to receive that. Yes, girl. And now I'm receiving it and I'm like, ah, are you sure it's safe?
Right? Right?
Prying my stilettos out of my cold, dead fingers.
I saw your thing. Somebody like you posted, they're like, what's going on? You're like, well, first of all, they don't fit, but something might be happening. And everyone's like, what? And you're like,
Oh,
I don't want to. I'm putting these on here because they don't fit. But like the stilettos to the ground, like, maybe when you got to burn some or something. I don't know, burn a pair. Go buy like a really cheap one. I don't know.
oh yeah, yeah. I have
Yeah.
some really jacked up pears that are ready to be turned into plant pots.
There we go. See, but I think the big message to hear is that you knew that it did serve you. You knew that of these things. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, I was a stripper and it was the worst thing ever. No, it's like it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. And I learned these things and I shake all the trauma right out of my hips into these
Yeah,
people's faces, whatever, all this stuff. And it came to brought you to here, which is what the timeline is. And it might not make sense in like having to explain it in a logical way, but in the energy way, it feels exactly aligned.
and that in the energy way, that's exactly how it shifted for me. So a couple of weeks ago, well, May 18th, I did a workshop. It was called Clear the Rot, and I shared one of the most powerful energy clearing practices I've ever learned called a putrefied corpse linkage. And it's
Oof.
kind of gross and zombie-ish, and so I really resonated with it. And my partner and I held space for me to do it together with him the day that I did the workshop. And the relationship I chose to work on was stripping. And the first part of the process is spending time saying everything that I was getting from the relationship and everything that this entity, person, place, or thing was getting from the relationship. And it reveals all of it, the good, the bad, the sabotage, the benefits, the codependencies, the feeding patterns, the seduction patterns. Like,
The whole shebang.
yeah, you take 30 minutes and do that with anything you're having a difficult relationship with, and you're going to learn something. You're going to learn a lot.
I would bet.
And then after that, my body just said straight up no, and I couldn't even go
It
back.
was like when you did this too, it was like came from a place of duality too, of like, it wasn't like, oh, here's the benefits, like, and it didn't put it in anything. It was just like, here's the facts
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
And when the facts were laid out and everything was laid out and the human got to see the
Mm,
facts, and then it was like clear.
totally.
Okay. Yeah.
I know. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Now
That's my
see it.
magic. And I have to do it on myself first.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how you embody it and how you teach people and how you cuz your whole thing literally is we're going to get out the rot, and it's not for the faint of heart.
It's
But
not.
it's
Oh,
a beautiful thing. I've been watching you for a year. Just do it to yourself. Like it's been,
yeah.
like this thing. And so, this can help so many others. And this is stuff, even just you saying that right now, somebody might be like, oh my God, I need to just sit down with myself,
Yeah,
and it could change it. Like it's, and like another podcast is like, we all have our own answers, but if you need help, reach out. But no, you have your answers. But
exactly.
if you need
That
help,
that's my jam right now too. Like I don't want to do tarot readings for people. I don't really want to read your astrological chart. I want you to know how to do that. I
yeah.
want us all to reclaim our magical powers and not need all of these sounding boards and honestly codependent relationships with coaches and mentors. That's not good for
That's
either
why
party.
it's hard too, because it's like we're taught to have repeating clients. And I remember,
I know.
and I was like, I don't really want unless a repeating client's like is in my like I have like a community and we're in there and we're like all like vibing. Yeah, that's I mean, we're building in there. But like if
Right.
someone's coming to me to the same things all the time, and that's what's been very hard with my business where I was like, how do I do
Mhm.
this and not sell when it's so saturated with come to me or whatever. So I think and it was funny because I put up channeled readings on my thing, and but in there the first line says the answers are already in you, sometimes they need a voice. So it's like if you're really struggling, come to me and I will the download that I give you will probably you only need one and you will like go, and I'm okay with that. Maybe one or two or whatever, or something's really, and you have the money, you want to pay me to help you with that. But you have to know that these readings that I give you are going to be super. It's just going to be like, here it is. Even if I get your whole path and what I'm going to tell you. What you choose to do with it after that is what you're going to do. And it's kind of like with you too. It's like, here's this thing. And it's like, we you know, can't have it where it, I don't want your money or your time. But if you really need help, please come to me. I'm here for that, but know that I'm going to push you. And if I will tell you, yeah. So it's just,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a big thing. And they don't teach you that. They're just like, you want more repeat clients, you want more stuff like that. And I love a good repeat client if it's something where I put on and it's something they're like, oh, that resonates with me, I'm kind of stuck with that. Ooh, information, hell yeah, now I can do it myself, yeah. But like the siphoning, I think for me was just,
I know.
so I'm struggling, and I'm also know it's going to thrive soon. So
Exactly.
I'm like, I just cannot put out a subpar. I can't. I
Yeah.
have to put my soul into it. And I think
There's
people are going to want that.
there's no need to ever do what feels out of alignment because being in spiritual business is about always being in our highest alignment,
Hmm.
whatever that means. And we
Whatever
don't
that means. And
always
it's not for everyone.
know.
And that's okay.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that we're having this conversation coming from where we've come from,
Yeah.
where like the mega coaching industry is really all about numbers and it's not really, it does not seem to me to be about total, complete, and permanent healing.
Yeah.
You want people to keep coming back. And I'm kind of more about contagious healing.
Yeah.
Like, what if I spark, like, you light your candle off my candle, and then you go light other people's candles, and now, like, we're all living in the heaven on earth thing, and no more worries. Can we please play this game? Does anyone want to play with me?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah,
Just sign me up. You already know I've been there this year.
yeah.
I'm just like, let's just go. And it's funny because we've talked here and there, but it's like I feel like every time we come together and it's like we're at the same point too of like, hey,
Huh?
this thing. So
Magic.
we had that one tapping thing and it's like I think I lit your candle.
Hmm.
And now it's like this thing, and you lit mine back because it was I think you maybe gave me a new candle so that
Cool.
I could continue, and it was just a circle. So yeah, I mean, I think you and me are on the same path of wanting to have it where the we all come together. It's the
Yeah.
growth of the new earth, of the compassion with boundaries, and we all get along with love and boundaries.
Yes. Boundaries are love. Boundaries
Yeah.
are just another
They're
flavor.
not walls, they're just boundaries.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. I know. Don't even get me started on like the Western therapy boundary culture that I'm like,
Yeah.
that's armor.
Yeah, it's armor. So, and it's all, I think it's just us really just going forward and just being the example. And it will not resonate with everyone, and that's totally fine. But like if this is something that resonates, then okay. And that's why all these conversations on this podcast I have is for everyone because everyone's at a different point and they want to hear a certain thing. So sometimes it resonates, sometimes it doesn't, but there's always a nugget
Yeah,
of something in there.
If you're coming in with beginner's mind, there's always a nugget somewhere. I
Yeah.
don't care where you are, what you're doing. If I
Yeah.
could sing Om Mani Padme Hum in the club, I believe in you. Okay?
Yeah. So we all have our journeys and our missions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right. So, I want to know, what is your words of wisdom for anyone on this path? Like, if, I mean, what they started, whatever, like something that, just whatever you feel called to share right now on this podcast, what would you like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I'll share from my pain point, which is this is moving so slow. I'm so like I feel pierced by all of the swords right now. I'm down, but
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
ten of
dead.
sword card.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not dead.
Yeah.
And when you're feeling those moments of like true crash, just know that space to rebound from. It's like the bottom is good. We're meant to be going up and down on the tree of life and playing in that duality. And there's nothing wrong when it feels like you're at the bottom, and it doesn't need to speed up. All we really need to do is be with it. And I think that's one of the biggest myths that got caught in my net was like, I don't feel good. Something must be wrong. Maybe I'm not doing spiritual right.
I say that all the time, and then I come back and I'd be like, I think I am, but it's a trap. Yeah, maybe I'm not doing it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Like our
Ooh.
only job is to feel our way through, and it's totally valid. So go be slugs.
Feel it through. Be the tortoise, not the hare. In this, in the earth realm, be the tortoise.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And this rebirth stuff, you're gonna feel like a tortoise without a shell, and that's
Yeah.
okay too. Just like soft environment, okay?
Yeah,
Treat
just
yourself like
know
some
that that's
little
okay.
baby.
I'll say. All right. Well, this was so good. I think someone out there is going to be like, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so
But,
glad.
we just want to share from our hearts. We just, we know that this is not easy, but it is worth it.
Yeah, every time, every
Every
damn
time.
time.
Every time. So, all right, everyone. I will put our information in the show notes. If you're interested in contacting either of us or any of that, we are here for it. So, I hope you have a beautiful now.
Mwah. Thank you.